we have the opposite of that. We have all of these hand gestures that they make. We have secret hand shakes, and we have weird things that, and I'm doing all these things, and somebody's going to pull this on YouTube and say, Mike Hoggard's a Satan worshiper. We have this hand gesture, and we have this hand gesture, and we have all of these weird hand gestures that nobody's supposed to know what they mean. They're mysteries, and they represent, since they're a mystery, they represent the covenant of death. In Masonry, we have the death of a person by the name of Hiram Abiff, and Hiram Abiff is slain by the hand. Think about it. He's murdered. He's slain by the hand, and then Masons teach that through the grip of the lion's paw. We're going to see something about that here in a little bit. Through the grip of the lion's paw, that he's raised back to life. And it all has to do with the hand and the 27 bones that are in the hand and this covenant of death. Hence, we have Amy Winehouse and the 27 Club. The 27 Club was so named because of these rock stars. And this is a short list. There's actually like a longer list on the internet of rock stars who all died when they were 27 years old. Jimi Hendrix, Janis, and by the way, I'll talk about Jimi Hendrix. I was watching a documentary one time on Woodstock, and I watched Jimi Hendrix play the guitar. I've never seen anybody do things with his hands on a guitar that Jimi Hendrix is doing. Where did he get that power, that ability? He made a covenant with death and with hell. And at age 27, death and hell came with the contract and said, it's time. Janis Joplin, drug overdose. Jim Morrison, very, very wicked, devil-possessed human being. Jim Morrison, dead, 27 years old. Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, dead, 27 years old. Kurt Cobain committed suicide, took a shotgun, blew his head off, 27 years old. What possesses someone to do that? A spirit, death, and hell. Amy Winehouse. Who didn't see this one coming? She was taken off the stage at her last concert appearance because she was so doped up on drugs and everything else she couldn't remember the words. She was freaking out. That was her last concert. They canceled everything after that, and all of a sudden she's laying dead, probably of drug overdose, probably of that. What possesses them to do this? They made a covenant with death. And the symbolism of the number 27 being a representation of that hand, that covenant of death that they made. Death just came calling in a very symbolic nature. You can always understand how spirits do things because they always follow certain patterns, certain numbers, certain symbols. They always do that. In the book of John, chapter 8, the Bible refers to the spirit that kills. He said, Jesus said, why do you not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And so here is Amy Winehouse and Kurt Cobain of the rock group Nirvana. Nirvana represents this awakening, this awareness that you receive, watch this now, that you receive by way of a hand laid upon your forehead called Shaktipat that confers upon you illumination. That's what Nirvana is all about. It all follows the same pattern, the same idea. And I was thinking about this number and how it's broken down. It's actually like a multiplication thing. You have 3 times 3 times 3, which makes 27. And if you don't believe me, just get a calculator out and do the math. You'll see it, that it's there. The interesting thing is that Freemasonry, and we're going to get to Norway in just a minute. Freemasonry has a ritual that they call 3 times 3 times 3. 3 Masons get together. They hook their 3 feet together. They hook 3 hands together here and 3 hands together up here. This shows as above, so below. 2 kingdoms coming together to be grasped in the middle. You see the logo there of the triquetra, the 3-headed snake. Are you catching all this here? 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. They're showing you the covenant of death and the spirit that was present with Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Brian Jones, Amy Winehouse. The spirit that was with them that caused their death, their ritualistic sacrifice at age 27. This all goes back, it's based upon the number 3. You see in Genesis chapter 3, the serpent. Remember that serpent, that 3-headed snake? The serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, promising them eternal life. But Jesus said the devil was a murderer from the beginning, and he abode not in the truth. That means that when he said that, he wasn't telling the truth. He was lying. He lied to Eve, and he said, ye shall not surely die. That is the exact opposite of what God said, ye shall surely die. For God doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was, number 1, good for food, number 2, that it was pleasant to the eyes, number 3, a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave unto her husband with her, and he did eat. See, this number 27 breaks down to like the number 3, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And this ritual that Masons perform, 3 times 3 times 3, it's part of the Royal Arch degree. And I mentioned that Masonry sort of hinges around this idea of a character by the name of Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff actually is the architect of the temple. And the idea is that Hiram, really, he's not really Hiram. He's the beast. He's in a pit. He's in a grave. You'll see the Masonic symbol of a coffin. Something is going to resurrect Hiram Abiff or whoever's in that coffin from the grave one of these days. Because in the ritual, the 3rd degree, in the ritual, they have this Masonic grip using the hand called the grip of the lion's paw. Now someone says, well, that's Jesus. He's the lion of the tribe of Judah. There's another lion in the Bible. Be sober, be vigilant, for your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. I think the grip of the lion's paw doesn't represent the gospel of Jesus Christ in the hand of the New Testament. I think it represents the goat hand, the goat side, the left hand. I think it represents the covenant with death and with hell. Why do I think that? Because the only place in the whole Bible where a lion's paw is mentioned is in 1 Samuel 17. This is David, and he's being asked about, hey, you're going to go kill Goliath. Are you sure you can do this? Look what David said. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. By the way, stop right here. The lion and the bear, those are all figures of the beast in Revelation chapter 13. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me, not with the paw of the lion, but out of the paw of the lion, and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee. This hand, 27 bones, this hand of death, and the symbolism of the number 27, the number 3. Very, very interesting. Because I was following the things that happened in Norway. A man by the name of Anders Behring Breivik goes in, he sets off a bomb at 3:30 in the afternoon. 33. There's that number again there. The number 3. On 7/22/11. 22 and 11. That's That's 33. That's similar to what was done with JFK on the 11th month, the 22nd day. It all works together. You see the numbers here. And he goes in, he sets off a bomb, kills a bunch of people at the, he's trying to kill the Prime Minister of Norway. And then hours later, he's over on this island, and he's shooting innocent people. He's killing them right and left, and just murdering massive amounts of people. Anders Behring Breivik had a spirit with him. A spirit not to give life, the right hand. A spirit to cause death, the left hand. He was a Mason and part of the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were accused of many things, but one of the things they were accused of was worshiping a god called Baphomet, the goat, the left hand. The same spirit working here. Two different days, two different events, all connected, I believe, by the same Spirit. The Bible talks about, again, this covenant with death and with hell in Romans chapter 5. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, talking about Adam, and death by sin. And so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed where there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who is the figure, there's another typology term, who is the figure of him that was to come. I want you to watch this now. Get this. He's talking about sin and death. In what part of the Bible was Adam born? The left hand, the Old Testament. What part of the Bible was the new Adam born? Jesus Christ. The right hand, the New Testament. Adam, who is a figure of him that was to come, but not as the offense, so also is the free gift. For if through the offense of one many be dead, much more the grace of God and the gift by grace, which is by one man, Jesus Christ, hath abounded unto many. And so I just want to bring this down on your level so you can kind of understand it. God makes it very simple. Okay? In fact, you know, we're just kind of programmed a certain way. If I were to meet you somewhere and I were to walk up to you and we were going to shake hands, if I stuck out my left hand, you'd go, "What are you doing?" If I stuck out my right hand, you would readily accept that. Whether you're right hand or left hand or not, everybody shakes the right hand. The right hand represents blessing, grace. Jesus being born in the right hand of the Bible, the right hand of God, the New Testament, he represents grace and mercy and truth. Those who could not keep the law decided that they liked the covenant of Jesus Christ better than the covenant that they made with death and with hell. And so I want to ask you a question today. Which covenant are you living under? Are you trying to please God in your works? Are you ignoring most of the Bible and saying, "Well, I've got good deeds and everything will be okay with me, and I just think I'll get to heaven on my good looks, my good merits"? You've actually made a covenant with death and hell. You're actually going to end up in the exact same place as Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Brian Jones, Janis Joplin. You're going to actually end up in the exact same place as them. Or would you just rather accept the new covenant of Jesus Christ? Make an agreement with God. And really it's very simple. You just say, "God, I put my trust in your right hand. Only you can save me. I cannot save myself."